Henry Rollins, our Inner Limits feature.
What's the difference for you now, doing readings like this when you're one person on the stage? How do you relate to the audience? I guess it's a completely different way from when you're with a band.
Well, there's the obvious differences, which we don't have to mention. But there's a lot of it's the same, as in, I relate to, well, if you're familiar with any of my work or anything, I relate to people and communicate with people on a very direct basis, you know. And you can do that with the music, and you can do that with this. And what I do with this is just, you know, leave the music away, so just nothing but the words gets a chance to sink in. And it ends up being a real personal, kind of intimate exchange, you know, and it's really cool.
I'm a big fan of women, and in all ways. And one of the most beautiful things a woman can possibly do is the way they just walk by you like you don't exist. It is so painfully perfect. I mean, it's incredible. You see a beautiful woman walking towards you, and like all these Roy Orbison songs are playing in your head. And they just walk right by, and you go, wow, they did that. She did that so well. And here I am alone, just perfectly alone. Whoa, genius. Anyway, here's this thing I wrote about it. She is beautiful and strange. I catch a brief instant of her perfume as she walks by. My imagination runs wild, dances, explodes, bursts into flame. She does it perfectly. Her exactness and adherence to detail is excruciating. I look at her neck, her jaw, her mouth, her eyes, the force of her motion as she walks by me. She's so natural at passing me, like I'm not even there. She makes me feel extinct as she passes. Her beauty destroys me, as it should, when she walks by to her destination, far away from me. And here's the other part, dedicated to this beautiful environment that we're presently in. She was born to destroy. She walks through the plate glass window of my heart without getting a scratch. When questioned as to why she was deployed to incinerate my village, she says that she knows nothing of any such mission, and if she did, she would not be at liberty to disclose such information. As far as she knows, I don't exist, nor did I ever exist. You don't have to clap.
A lot of times it seems like music and reading aren't very related by the people who are consuming them. They're either like into music or they're into reading, but it's not that often where they're both the same thing.
No, that's true in some ways, but what I found a lot of times with a lot of people who are into let's be polite and say fringe element music, punk rock, art music, I mean, stuff that's not Bon Jovi, I mean, stuff that's hitting left or right field, but not center field, okay? I find a lot of those people who are a lot of times in bands themselves, I mean, you know all these people that I know, I mean, I find a lot of these audiences and a lot of these people do a lot of reading, and for the most part are usually really creative people in their own right as far as thinking and talking. I mean, I meet almost everybody who comes to my shows, I meet them at one point or another. I get a letter from them, I see them, you know. And a lot of times these people are amazingly intelligent. Not that I'm some gauge of intelligence, by no means. But someone will go, hey, you know, I read that book that you were talking about, blah, blah, blah. Or what did you think of this? I'm like, wow, you read that stuff? The guy goes, yeah, I read all of that years ago. I'm like, wow, that's hot. You know, I don't think you'd often find that with Ozzy Osbourne's fans or whatever you call them. So in some ways, yeah, the people who buy a lot of records they're not always into buying books because, you know, people who are into rock and roll, like me, or a lot of people, it's an immediate gratification sport. Put the record on and it's kicking. Books you have to put work in.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, if it's a good book, what a reward, you know.
I go on tour a lot. I'm in Berlin like once or twice a year, and I've been seeing this wall for like the last 5 or 6 years. And I always go visit it. I get up early in the morning before I got to split, and I always go over to the wall and kind of hang out. There's a pretty wild location you can go to right next to Hitler's house. They built him this big old thing, I forget what it's called, the Rockstadt or some shit. But anyway, they built this big old castle for the dude, and it's right next to the wall, of course. And I always walk up and down the wall and just look at all the graffiti because artists have like taken over the wall and there's beautiful paintings going, you know, all kinds of murals and all kinds of really cool graffiti. Like people spray paint ladders onto the wall and write down like lyrics of bands and stuff. It's really cool. And every year they have an outdoor rock festival in West Berlin and they get this big whooping PA and they aim it to the east. So all the kids near the wall in East Berlin can hear it, and it apparently has big riots over in East Germany because everyone wants to rock out and get into the music, and the guards keep pushing them back, you know, because they have these bands playing through a mega PA blasting right into the territory there. But there's this one wild thing, man. When you go to some parts of the wall, they have these places for tourists. They have observation decks. You can climb up this ladder and go to a wooden platform so you can take your pictures of over the wall. And over the wall, in some sections, there's a long field that just goes. It's like a big putting green. It's this like really flat green field. And there's mines all through it. So there's no people there except a few guards in guard towers. And they don't f around. They got machine guns. And if you look at them too long, they look back at you and they got these Uzis or whatever they're carrying, MAC-10s or whatever. And it's serious, man. People try and escape and they get shot down dead. And here's a wild thing, man. They have bunnies. All these little bunny rabbits live on this field because there's no animals to kill them. No wolves or foxes or whoever eats rabbits. And they're too light to set off the mines. So you'll be looking over and it's like total oppression. Here's barbed wire, rolls of barbed wire, the Berlin Wall, guys with machine guns looking very unfriendly, this whole total prison where no one can get out, and little bunny rabbits scampering all over the place. It is the weirdest juxtaposition because the rabbits look so happy. They just go running all over the place like, whee, you know, yahoo, you know. It's just so weird, like bunnies and machine guns. It's weird. Someone should do a record, bunnies and machine guns.
Do you ever write only for impact?
Do you mean like shock value or something?
Your work does have shock value to it. No, shock value is the wrong word.
Maybe my work sometimes shocks people, but that's not my intent.
Right.
I don't take much stock in shock value. I mean, I would never write something to blow you away.
Yeah.
The reason I do write to have impact, but to just have impact not for the sake of impact, but to really express myself in a hopefully undiluted manner. And if that sometimes is a heavy impact thing, well, okay. But yeah, I mean, any artist or any writer, musician, terrorist, movie star type should try to have impact. I mean, otherwise it's just entertainment, you know, it's Dean Martin time. That's non-impact. I'm more interested in something that moves me, like reading a good book, you know, reading Camus or Celine, you know. Sure, Camus is fiction, but it moves you. It makes you feel things, you know, and that's impact.
This guy tells me this story about how he was, you know, a black guy in Vietnam, and they said, well, they had all the black guys together in one group. They didn't want the mixing with the white guys. The white guys just didn't want them around, so they're all in this one little group of guys, about 40 of them. They went into a village. And he talked about how this little kid came into the middle of all of them. And they're all kind of playing with the kid, and then the kid blew up and blew away most of his friends. And then he just kept on telling me about that and about how he's hungry and how he can't find work. And then he was pretty drunk, and then he fell asleep and fell into me. He kind of went, I'm hungry. And he he fell asleep. And I just kind of leaned him back up against the bench, and I took my shit, and I went on the train, and I went away. And it just made me think about how, you know, there's all these broken, fractured people screaming for help, but they're invisible. You know, these people who watch their friends' brains get blown into their laps. They're invisible. They're on the streets yelling for help, you know, giving out every possible flair and attention, help me, and like no one sees it. No one gives a f***. And it's so ugly, man. It's like one of the ugliest things I've ever seen. And it's all about walls, you know. The whole fucking deal is all about walls, keeping your wall up. Everyone here has walls. I got mine, you got yours. You got all kinds of walls. Walls you got for different purposes, you know. And you always think, I should take down my walls. The f*** you should, man. Your walls are some of your best protection. I remember that one of the first walls that I put up is when my mother's boyfriend was beating on me. I remember one time, a particularly outrageous ass whooping, he like pulled my pants down and stripped me naked, and he was beating me with his belt. And he beat me. I had welts up and down my back and legs. And then he left the room. And I figured, okay, well, finally I survived that. I was like 6, 7 years old at the time. Then he comes back in and starts wailing on me again, like round 2. I'm like, God damn, you know. And then he came in a third time, and he starts kissing me. And I'll never forget the taste of the tobacco in his mouth and the stubble of his beard all over my face as he kissed me and said, I'm sorry. And he was kissing me all over me and hugging me. And I was bleeding on my back and on the back of my legs. And after that, I kind of set up this defense mechanism to where I stopped really understanding my mother as any kind of relation to me. And I took it over to my father. And then from then on, I said, yeah, that's my mother and that's my father. These people that I know, but they're no mother relation to me, man. That's not my blood, that's not my DNA, that's not my anything. And I never took the wall down.
We didn't even want to do a video. Michael said, hey, you guys want to do a video? And I said, no. So he goes, well, I got this company I've been working on since REM has taken some time off from the road. Would you, you know, come on down to Athens when you do your gig and let's, like, just do something. I said, okay, if you want to do something, fine. I mean, I'm not interested in doing rock videos, personally. I'd rather just take the same money and put it into the record, you know, get a better van, you know, get a better drum set. You know, videos to me, you know, for a band like what we do, you know, we're not the Cult. Videos aren't going to help us. You know, it's just money that we can't afford to spend, you know. So he goes, look, you know, we can do it for the cost of the film, you know. It's not going to be a very fancy deal. So I said, yeah, sure. If it's low budget and fun, let's do it. And that's what it is, low budget and fun. Yeah, Michael's a great person.
He's excited about his film stuff.
He's real excited about it.
What am I doing here? 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 Climb the stairs back to my hollow room. Locked up, thrown away, followed down solitude.
manager. I'm not made to do this. No, when I book these shows, I call up Bob. The guy who books my gigs. When I went to Europe, right before I left, I called Bob. I go, Bob, I'm getting back April 10th. I don't want to do anything on the 10th or the 11th. I want to kind of cool out, do my laundry. But for the rest of April, you've got me. See if, I go, I dare you to try and kill me. Try and work me into the dirt. I'll survive anything you book. Here I am.
Is it, you have a search and destroy tattoo. Is that the type of thing you got to live to be able to wear it?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm not sure if that, like, I don't know where that comes from. Is search and destroy some...
Search and destroy is a term that was used in Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
When a search and destroy mission was to go along a designated path, go to any village you would find, eliminate the kids and old people, flush them from the village and burn it to the ground. And the concept of search and destroy, for me, is just my attitude towards life, which is to explore everything thoroughly, each emotion, each strength, each weakness, break into its component parts and find out where the truth lies. You know, push it, you know, and at the end of the mission, hopefully you're spent. That's my concept, you know. It's a very Nietzschean type thing. It's like pulling yourself towards death by living life so fully. And the way I do it, my little way of doing it, is by performing and pushing myself physically and mentally and really trying to express myself flat out, you know, without holding back.
You set up tests for yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not interested in life very much outside of the stuff that really pushes me. Life is pretty boring in a lot of ways. It's a ritual. You know, you got your ritual, I got mine, you know. If you think about it, you know, the first guy felt like the 5th guy, feels like the 20th guy. I mean, it's just biology, you know. And the first meal, the 10th meal, I mean, sleep, wake up, you know, it's a circle. So for me, to make it interesting and to make it mean something, I really find meaning in the grind, in the push, you know. I find most illumination in states of exhaust and fatigue. That's where I get my high, you know, like when I play with the band, I you know, push myself very physically, and from that, you know, I really get gone into the music, you know. I really enjoy it. Hurts like hell to play. Never did a gig that was any good that didn't hurt. And just, you know, sometimes we book these tours, you know, like 8 weeks. It makes me wince, just going, God, am I going to survive this? But I like being in situations where I got to really pull myself together to get through it. And it's not Cambodia, it's not San Quentin, you know, I'm not dodging bullets, it's just a club. But it's as close as I get to so I can really push myself and see what I'm made out of, and that's what I'm really interested in. You know.
This is a true story. The phone rings at Rollins Central. I wipe away the 16-year-old girls calling at me. Grab the phone. Rollins Incorporated. It's my mom. My mom, who used to be a dish-throwing, chain-smoking, wine-drinking, neurotic, crazy woman, got into this thing called Earhart Seminar Training, EST. This kind of quasi-bleeding-ass, liberal, Eastern winds philosophy, religion, designer philosophy thing. Anyway, it transformed my mom from, I hate you, I never wanted you, to, wow, yay, I want you to know that I'm here with being here with this feeling that I really want to express, that for you to get that I really like where you're at now. Can you get to that here now? Oh, that's a bit of a mouthful, Mom. Let me think about that. I just want you to get that I am really into where you're at. I'm in your kitchen, but, I mean, she's really, yay, yay, fucking great. She's like this one-woman cheerleading squad, and she married this guy, Les, who's awesome, man, one of the smartest motherfuckers I've ever met. And he's kind of like the cosmic tugboat of love. He just kind of stands there like just going, oh, wow. And anytime there's a big crisis, my mom's like, oh, fucking great, wow, yay, yay. And Les is like, oh, Iris is doing a happy thing now. Oh, Iris, right on, you're doing happiness. Far out. I mean, so they're a really wild duo, you know? Because my mom's like, yay, yay! She's a spaz, and like Les just kind of lumbers along going, far out. Look, Iris is happy. Wow. Yay. Go, yay. I support that. You know, don't block, no blocking, you're blocking me, be here now, you know. So my lawn is kind of far out, you know, and so I get the call, Henry, it's your mother. Happy, happy, happy. Hi, Mom. What's up? How's your music? It's just coming right along, Mom. How's the opus, baby, baby? Oh, we just finished writing it, Mom. It's coming right along. Well, what's up, Mom? Me and Les just went to go see this great movie. That's great, Mom. What is it about? It's about this band on tour, and they're playing these songs, and me and Les bought the soundtrack, and we think it's fucking great. That's great, Mom. And I'm thinking to myself, a rockumentary in the theaters now with a soundtrack. What could this be? No, not my own mommy. No. Mom, what is the name of said rockumentary? It's about this band called U2, and it's called Rattle and Hum. Have you ever heard about it? I'm like, oh no. Mom, listen to me. Sit down, I have to talk to you. And for 20 minutes, I tried to explain how U2 is thoroughly bastardized and reamed American black music, how they're the most bogus, multi-million-dollar corporation. Oh, Mom, you think IBM is bad? You think those motherfuckers are the devil at a level, Mom? Bono is Satan. You can't make your mom understand that kind of shit from 3,000 miles away. Not when she's like my mom. I get that you don't like it, and I want you to know that I support that, and I'm there with you not being here with me on that. Okay, Mom. Right. Bye, Mom. Click. Weeks later, it's Saturday night in Los Angeles. I am out on a date. And my ears, my little tiny pointed ears, prick up. Ah, the B word. Bono, hate. And sure enough, here comes Bono walking towards us with no bodyguard. And he's got his little Bono suit on. He's got the pointy cowboy boots, the leather pants, the white shirt, the leather top coat, and the cowboy hat with his little bolo tie. It was him in his little suit, in his little Bono getup. And the first thing I said to myself was, man, he's ugly, and B, he is really short. And the third thing I said, kill.